Good evening. I am Carolyn Lewis, and this is FBMD Faith by My Deeds. And I'm coming in very briefly to touch on a subject near and dear to parents and children alike, especially the adult children. You hear adult children now, and it's a generational change as well, um, either feeling like they wasn't given enough freedom, as if they were not raised like the next household, and then in some cases is where a child, usually the firstborn, was raised quite differently and felt unloved and felt some kind of way, and is still holding on to that in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond. So, what should you do? You had a parent, depending on their age and their financial struggle and the location where they live, that either raised you and your siblings according to their knowledge at the time and what they was doing, what they was going through, and for to the best of their knowledge and ability, whether it been right, wrong, good, fair, sweet, poor. You got to look at some other things because most people don't see their parents as humans. They see them as a title, a thing, or an entity that should have done this or should have done that. And that can cause a lot of hurt for years, and not knowing that parents, let's go with mothers, have a lot on them, whether if it was from their own upbringing. Maybe they didn't have the best upbringing. Maybe the parent that they have didn't have enough information and guidance to pour into them, and not enough wisdom. She herself could have been out and about or working and not at home. Where was the dad? Was he there? Did he decide he wanted to start a family elsewhere? Or was he also out in the streets or paying more attention to himself? Or was he one of the workaholics that was not at home? So there's a lot to go into being a parent. Some get it right, some make the very best of their bad situation. Some pick up and read and obtain knowledge. Others may not have that source. There's some people who do not see, live, or experience outside of their bubble, outside of their little community. They was born and raised there. They stay there. They raise their kids and never get outside of that area, that experience. Never seeing other parts of the U.S., let alone seeing other parts of the world. And they in this little bubble, and party life was it. Chasing a man or a woman was it. Just obtaining some things was it. Or she wasn't treated right. She wasn't hugged, didn't love. Older community, especially baby boomers, didn't always come, and that was the generation before me. Hugs. The hugs and I love you. That wasn't always a certain something of norm. Granted, some families did, just like now. Some family had dinner together, some do not. Some get up and take mini vacations or staycations together, many do not. Some parents allow kids to make decisions within the home, some do not. But to be upset in your adulthood, because now you are the adult, you looking back over childhood, woulda, coulda, shoulda, wish I hadda, and you're missing out on you living. You're missing out on your joy now. You're missing out on what God could do for you. You're missing out because you're holding on to the past. Let that go and look forward, reach forward, and make your today, tomorrow, your future look the way you would like for it to. My parents was too strict, didn't let me do this and do that. Okay, now that you're grown, what do? Do you go to work and come home still? Go to work and come home? Well, you're still doing the same thing. Why don't you break that cycle yourself and set aside a day or time that after work you will go out and socialize? Set out a time on the weekend where you can gather and have people come to you or what have you. What is it you think you missed out on that was so important that it changed your life to where it's miserable and can't be happy, that you can now learn how to do for yourself? I want to touch self before I touch parents here at this moment, because if you're grown and living on your own now, you have the means of working, praying, changing, believing your situation now. But I wanted to feel loved. Okay, well, let's feel love now, because who you was depending on to love you. Yes, parents and grandparents supposed to love on you, but if you have one that was grew up Great Depression or that time after the civil rights movements, or going through this all love 70s where everybody was just loving on everybody and free willing for sex and this and what have you, it was weeding it up, and hey, they was missing some things. They was that living for themselves at that moment, and just being there for yourself doesn't make for a good parent. That human being may not had the qualifications they needed to be a parent. Well, they should have thought about that. They should have thought. No, everyone don't think before making a mistake. If that's the case, everybody would be making mistakes. Some people don't have that knowledge, or they didn't have that upbringing. Their parents wasn't loving and caring to them. The parents before that wasn't loving and caring in your perception, what you perceived as loving and caring. That parent may have thought loving and caring is working, making sure it's a roof over your head, clothes on your back, and for heaven's sakes, food on the table. That was their idea of love. And you would hear men of old say, well, if I'm paying a light bill, I love you. Well, you got to use the lights too. So yeah, we could both be working paying bills. That paying a light bill don't mean you love me. You might be paying a bill out of obligation. So that paying a bill doesn't equate love. So let's dig into that sometime with your parents or with yourself or whoever you're talking with. What did they have? What did they know? Were they always chasing something to make them happy? Were they chasing a man or woman they feel could always make them happy? Were they always chasing the next dollar instead of spending time in home with the ones who was there right there? Were they always allow people to come into the home, regardless if that best friend, family friend, or whatever was sneaking off in the back room touching the kids? Did this person have this desire for them? They just had to have people around. Were they dependent upon certain people? Just had to be around them. They was lacking something. If so, get the love from the people who was there to love you. Was it your grandparents that poured more into you? Love and appreciate and take the foundation they set for you and thrive off of that. Forgive this parent that did not be the parent that you thought they should have been. And then your thought of what a parent is may be off too. For those who, well, they didn't buy me this or they didn't buy me that. It wasn't about just buying you things. Did they spend time with you, take care of you, pour into you, take time to chastise you, take time to try to teach you morals and teach you right from wrong, teach you how to love yourself, teach you how to take care of yourself, teach you how to care about your community and those in your family? Did they teach you the things you needed to survive in life? Then they didn't have to be the parent you thought you wanted. They was the parent that you needed. Sometimes we forget, and different generations do believe certain things. It wasn't the I, me, my kind of thing. It was a community. Family wasn't just the ones right here in this household. Family was the person next door, the person across the street. We all gonna eat. If one of us eat, we all gonna eat. If they gotta go to work at this hour and I work a different shift, we gonna team up and take care of each other's kids. We gonna team up and take care and make sure everybody is taken care of. So what you deem now, oh, it's a babysitter somewhere, everywhere, daycare center, daycare centers everywhere that's charging a little bit of nothing to a whole lot to watch your kids. People didn't just throw their kids in daycare then. And did you hear my voice? Throw their kids in daycare. Now you bet, well, that's all. They need to go to daycare when they're 6 weeks old. Another difference to point out, mothers before kept their babies at home away from germs, not just to say stuck in the house away from people, but you got a newborn that you're introducing to any and every germ out there. And as we all know, like now with COVID, you have newborns that's in and out of the house, in the stores, in here, over there, everywhere. Instead of being at home to build up an immune system for those first 6 weeks or so, and to give that mother time to not go full-fledged back into taking care of everybody and everything so that she can heal physically, mentally, and spiritually. Now everybody just go, 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 go. That's not giving that mother and that child what they need for real. They need time to heal, to build up an immune system, to bond, to grow, to reset and adjust to what's going on now. And I'm throwing out several different things. And if there's some of these things you need more help with or help understanding, breaking down, hearing yourself talk about it out loud, I am here. That is what Faith by My Deeds do, is work with families and individuals, couples to search to sort out these things that can be a hindrance to you for being upset with a parent, whether a parent was good or bad or wasn't the parent you thought you wanted, or the parent you really needed. If they was neglectful and couldn't be the parents you needed, you can't let that hinder you 20, 30 years on down the road. When you left their household, went off to work, left their household and went to college, left their household and got married, whatever you did, now's your time to heal yourself, love yourself enough, love God, love yourself, and share love out to others. Be that person now that you wanted them to be. You wanted the mother who would always sit and do hair and play with nail polish and do the cooking, the baking, and do, well, you be that now. You wanted the mother who would get out and jump hurdles, play basketball, throw a football with you. You get up and you do that now. Be to yourself what you felt you did not have. Release that person and acknowledge, we wrestle not with flesh and blood, principalities of evilness, but also my people perish for lack of knowledge. In that household, that parent may have had a lack of knowledge, not excusing that they should have obtained that knowledge, or older person, or older person should have came in and have taught them that knowledge. But if they did not have it, and they was in lack, or if they was working overload, 2, 3, 4 jobs, trying to take care of home, hoping somebody would at least come in and help, or piled responsibilities on that oldest child as the second parent in the home, because family has to help family and you're the oldest. You're going to take care of your siblings while I'm away. Not the daycare center, not someone down the road that you're not swapping daycare services with, babysitting services, child care services with, but the oldest child in the house. Hey, you did your part as a family. Now heal yourself from that. What did you want to do? What did I miss out on? I missed out on being able to just get up and go relax where I wanted to. You're grown now. Make that happen for yourself. Give yourself the affirmations that you are someone, you are loved, you're special in God's eyesight, first of all, so you should be seeing yourself as worthy as receiving love from others. Never let others see you or make you feel that you're less than. They see you in a negative light, then your opinion ain't none of my business. What you think about me, that's your problem. That's not my problem. I see me as worthy. I see myself as a caring person, a person who is thriving, to want to learn, to obtain better life. And that's how you see yourself. You see us, I'm fun loving, I'm wanting to do right by people. Then that's how you see yourself. And if somebody sees something different, you ignore that, wave that on, and be who you were created to be. Be what makes you happy. Like, don't mistreat yourself by mistreating your body, mistreating your mindset. Don't allow somebody to bombard you with mess that they say should be. You find out who you are and what your purpose is in life, and you live that out to the fullest. Become now what you say you wish you had then. And do not allow saying I was under rules that I didn't like, so now I'm not gonna make any rules for my kids. Because now on the other hand, here you are allowing a child to just get older. You're not instilling good morals into them. You're not shaping them into someone who can take care of themselves. You're not teaching them about the world and people that's in it. You just letting them do whatever music, whatever shows, wherever they want to go and come, whoever want to come by, whatever goes, no rules. Well, you're being a very detrimental person in that child's life. Find balance. We need rules. We need love and playtime. We need to speak life into each other, but we also need to set boundaries and say this is unacceptable and you can't do that. And if you was unfortunate enough to have a parent who never said I love you, or didn't hug you, or didn't show you they love you by spending family quality time with you, by telling you you was doing good or where you could improve, or that I'm here to help you do this. The little school projects, one I remember in particular, it got on my nerves, but I dove all in. One of my daughters had to do we got a shoebox and did, oh my goodness, a little eco environmental. We did the rainforest. And before I knew it, I done took her and we went to the Dollar Tree. We bought all kind of stuff to make the marsh, the water. We had the animals, the bugs, you name it. This thing looked like it was something real. You could just take a picture of it and spread it out and it would come to life. Is what it looked like. It was so well put together between she and I that the teacher kept it. Now we had fun putting it together and talking about, well, what about this over here? How about this? Well, wouldn't you want to see this? I took time and poured into a project that was hers for her, but something I look back and smile like, yeah, we did that. And maybe when she's older, she may look back and laugh about that. Or if she see this video and think, oh, yeah, I remember that. I wanted to bring it home and da da da. But yeah, we can remember doing that together, making pies together. Now, one thing my boys did hate is I am a flower lover, and I would get out and have them to help me in the flower beds, digging new flower beds or planting rose bushes or whatever. But if push comes to shove and they need to know how to plant something to eat or to come up later, they can do it. When they was running track and we had needed more time to practice hurdles or whatever, we make a makeshift something at home, whether it was out in the street, ripping and running up and down through there racing, or setting up something to practice jumping hurdles. But I poured back into them. Yes, I had to work, and yes, they had chores. Maybe not enough chores, but yes, they had chores. And even though a lot of people say, "Oh, but Miss Lewis was strict," and "Oh, Miss Lewis will whoop you," they still was 10 other kids at my house most of the time that weren't mine. So something went right with that. They was there, and I have 5, but there was always at least 10 others there. And some are still around today. Monica, Kevin, how are y'all doing? And Ashley, how you doing? Uh, it's just amazing because I can remember several other of the kids, you know. Um, yeah, that was Charles and Asia and um, I won't say Tamika, but her name was not Tamika. Blessed, and then oh, the twins, and so they kept some kids, and Brandon and Haley, and it was just so many kids that was always around. Now we had our family night where we did games and talked Bible trivia and everything. But I'm saying, even though I had to work and even though I was strict, and I would tear hide up in a minute if it deemed it. If a punishment wasn't well enough, or send you to your room to do a paper or write out something wasn't enough, what you did calls for um, chastisement. By all means, I didn't withhold the chastisement. And if your child hung out at my house and they showed out, and it required chastisement, they got it. My 5 and whoever else was there, they would get it. And but at the same time, I loved them. I would not waste my time to chastise a child I didn't love. I wouldn't waste my time getting on to a child that I didn't have some care for and some love for. So yeah, there was plenty there. Um, but family first, right? And the children are our future. If you either letting your kids bring someone else there for you to influence them and they have a positive environment, or you letting them go any and every which other way, and they getting introduced to God knows what. But you want to make sure that you have that positive input on them. And granted, going back to our topic, I know everyone didn't do that. You have some that was very young mothers, 14, 15, 16, 17 years old. And for some people, 19 is very childish for some people. And they don't have enough life experience to pour into a child and make good decisions with this child. And I'm going to grow up, my child going to be my best friend, and we're going to do all this stuff together. What about you raising this child and teaching them? So what I'm going to leave you with is forgive that parent if you felt that they was not loving enough, if they didn't protect you enough, if they didn't provide you with the things you thought you wanted. That parent worked with what they had. And as a child, you don't always understand what your parents was doing and saying, because us as children of God, sometimes we may not understand what his word meant or why something happened. But yet, obedience, right? Obedience is a sign of love. You love me, obey me, keep my commandments. So therefore you have that. And you also have that fathers do not provoke the child. Don't provoke them into anger and hate. But at the end of the day, we're not supposed to hold grudges. Acknowledge what a person knew and what they had, the abilities they had, and were they capable of raising you. Because there's some kids that's just outstanding. Um, Again, one of mine was headstrong. I always knew this child is a leader, and Lord have mercy, trying to guide and train a leader is tough. Sometimes they make you want to pull your hair out, but you know this child is meant for greatness. This child has a destiny on them to lead others. But how do I train them without breaking them? To what degree do I set this boundary? Where you got some parents who are raising a great child and they're not great. Now, if you have a shy parent trying to raise somebody great, they're not going to do it. You had a timid parent trying to raise someone great, they ain't going to be able to do that. That timid parent is going to be scared, unknowledgeable, weak, where this child needs them to be strong in several areas. So who was that parent? Did they have the knowledge and the equipment to raise you properly? If not, then so be it. Let that person go. Relieve them and love them now, because tomorrow, next week, the next day is not promised to you. So let that go with them. Forgive them for what they did not know, what they did not do, and love them for who they are today. Well, my parents drunk too much. Well, my parents fought all the time. Are they with you today? Are you in danger with them today? If love them today, release them and make memories for today. Make memories and do things that can cause a change in your family, cause a closeness and a love for your children with your parents. For you and your children with your parents. Love them now for who you are and for who they are. Love them because of the change you've made in your life. Become what you wanted them to be to you then, and they may not have been equipped for it. They may have had trauma that changed who they were. A lot of people that get addicted to certain things didn't just get started because, oh, I think I want to just take this and oh, I want to get drunk and I pass out. Something happened to them. There was a trauma there. Someone who's always chasing a man to say that she is accepted, she's loved, she's a woman. There's a lack there. There's some love she don't have for herself. So love you now where you are, and stop saying, well, my mama didn't do this to me and my mama wasn't there, my daddy wasn't. Who are you now? What can you do to change, to make your life the way you want it now? And speaking of some of the children that was hanging out of my house, Hey, Monica. She's one of my adopted children that was at the house as well, and love her to death. And yes, she got switched right along with my father as well. Like I say, I'm not gonna take time to chastise a child I don't care about, don't love, don't want to see the best happen for them. And I would pile them up and take them all to church. Why? Because I felt that was what was best for my kids and for those that was with them. I wanted to instill them in who loved them more than anybody else could love them, who would be there and never leave them more than a parent could love them, and never ever turn their back or leave or forsake them. So I wanted to make sure you're getting a good environment. If you was at my house, you would probably snuck and got away with some mess. I ain't gonna say they didn't. It was 15 of them at most times. But you know, if I found out, I was gonna get you. Correct or not? So holding grudges on your parents is not something that you want to do. Release them and say they did the best they could with what they had, with what they know, and with who they were. Because you don't know if they had the proper upbringing, what trauma they faced, what lack of image or perception they had of themselves, or what tore them down to the point that they could not function properly. Parents are humans. They have traumas, mistakes, hurts, and battles just like you do now, or like anybody else that you see somewhere. They're not perfect. They wasn't born perfect. They're not gonna ever be perfect. Guess what? Neither are you. You're not perfect. They have shortcomings just like you do. They may have used their body the wrong way. They may have put things in and took things the wrong way. They may not have shown you the love and the hugs and the I love you like as much as you would want to, but each generation had something different to go through. Civil rights movements before that, the um, oh my goodness, the Great Depression, and before, and as blacks, they always had some kind